Hello, everyone. Today we are going to be looking at Alaska and where some of the different energy sources are here in the state and how different communities in Alaska produce their electricity. So you probably just learned about all the different sources of energy, so the sun and the wind and water and oil and natural gas and coal and geothermal, and then different types of energy, so electricity and fuel and heat and all the different ways that we use and get energy. So what we're going to do today is we are going to look at Alaska and look at the different ways that different Alaskans get their energy. So let me share my screen with you so you can see this map. This is a map of Alaska, and all these different little pictures on here are the different sources of energy, right? So we talked about how energy needs a source, right? So if you want the energy to do work, right, go run around on the playground, you need the source of that energy comes from food, right? Or if we turn on a light, the source of that energy comes from electricity, and that electricity had to be made by something that came from nature. So whether that's the wind or the sun or coal or oil, right, we get electricity by using things from nature to produce that electricity. And different places in Alaska get their electricity from different sources. So here in Anchorage, we use mostly natural gas, right? So we've got natural gas is the blue flame, oil is the brown droplet there, coal is our little mining cart here, water or hydro is the blue drop, then wind is our wind turbine there. Biomass, that's our living things, right? So our trees or our fish oils, those sorts of things. Okay, the sun is obviously the sun or solar energy. And then we also have our geothermal, so that little orange triangle there. So if we look around Alaska, you can see that we get our electricity from all these different sources, right? Here in Anchorage, we have mostly natural gas, okay? Up in Fairbanks, they have mostly coal. Down here in Juneau, mostly water, right? And then as you look around the edge of the state here, you can see lots of oil being used and some wind being used. What we're seeing now, this is a newer map, so what we're seeing now are more and more solar projects are starting to be used. Up here on the North Slope, we see some natural gas and then some oil, because that's where a lot of the oil and natural gas is produced here in Alaska. So depending on where you live, it will change what source is being used to produce the electricity that comes to your homes to turn on the lights. So each one of these different sources has a different cost associated with it, right? So down here in Juneau, they have lots and lots of water, really easy access to water, so they can use water to produce their electricity. Okay, and in Fairbanks, they have lots of coal because the Usa Valley coal mine is right here. So they can produce their electricity from coal. Here in Anchorage, we have lots of natural gas because there's natural gas here in Cook Inlet. So we can get that natural gas and produce our electricity. And then out in different places in more rural Alaska, they have to actually ship in oil or diesel to produce a lot of their electricity. And then in some communities, they have some wind and now even some solar to help produce their electricity. So again, depending on where you live in Alaska and what is available to you from a natural resource, that sort of depends on how you can produce your electricity as a community. So these different resources cost different amounts of money. So depending on where you live, your electric bill or the electricity you pay for, or maybe your parents pay for, changes. So what we're going to do is a fun activity where you're going to use this map to help figure out where in Alaska we get our energy from, what source it comes from, and how much it costs. So you guys have fun doing this activity and look at some maps and enjoy figuring out how much electricity costs here in Alaska.